With a new season on the horizon, Birmingham City manager Gary Rowett is looking forward to his first full campaign in the dugout. The Blues boss has been pleased with the work done during the off-season and feels an element of positivity within the group.
There's a real confidence amongst the group. I think there's a great synergy amongst the group. I think everyone, is fighting hard together, and there's a real togetherness. And even the players that we brought in this summer fitted into that ethos. That was part of the reason why we brought them in. But they fitted into that ethos, and I just look at a group every day that really feels like they're going in the right direction, feels like they can achieve something. Again, we're not going to set the boundaries of what that achievement would be, but I like the feel of the group. It's a really good bunch of players, and they're going to work very, very hard to try and start the season a little bit better than they did last year.
When Rowett arrived last October, nobody would have perhaps predicted a 10th place finish in the Championship, and the manager has no problems with supporters having high expectations this time around.
I think it would be remiss of me to start saying to people, look, maybe top 10 is going to be difficult, or maybe we've got to be realistic. I don't want to do that, because for me, if you've got fans that are optimistic going into the season, feeling like your team can achieve something, then that's fantastic. And we've done our job over the last 6 to 9 months or whatever it is. All I'll say all the time is I'm like the fans. I believe we can achieve something. What that achievement is will be down to other people, not me. Our achievement will be being the best team we can be, and keep progressing and keep developing and keep being better at certain aspects of the game. And hopefully along with that, results will come and a decent position. I think for us it's about being in the mix, and if the mix is top half of the table, top 10, around the end of the season with something to play for still, with 6 or 7 games to go, then that'll be fantastic. But again, listen, the fans are enthusiastic, the fans are looking forward to the season. As a manager, the last thing I want to do is dampen that down. I never would. I like the fact that they feel like we can achieve something.
Another positive for Blues over the summer was ending the speculation surrounding Damari Gray and Clayton Donaldson, with the pair both putting pen to paper on new deals.
I think that was something in the recruitment process in the summer. We obviously had bids for both of them, and in all honesty, it's how do I find a similar player that will give us the same sort of output in the team for that sort of money? And the reality is, I don't think we could have done. So therefore, I think you have a little shift of, we have to try and keep these players. And I think that's been really pleasing for me, is that from the outset, both players were very keen to stay. And I think that tells you a little bit about what we've tried to achieve so far. It tells you a little bit about the environment we're trying to create, and it also tells you that they see the team going in an upwards direction. So I think them, along with others, it's been absolutely crucial that we've managed to retain their services. And I think particularly those two, Clayton and Damari, I think are going to have big seasons again this year. And that's going to be a big part of our aims.
Plenty of new faces have arrived at St Andrews ahead of the new season, and Rowett is confident that they will all add something to his squad.
I think John, along with Michael Kifton-Belt, I think Jacques Magoma, I think lots of the other signings we've made as well. But I think they'll be really good players, and I think people were perhaps a little bit surprised when we signed 1 or 2 of them. But having seen them in some of the pre-season games already, I think Michael would give us something different as a holding midfielder, vastly experienced at 25 even, been a captain of a very, very good Dutch side that finished in the Europa League this season, or last season. And John Torrell, I think, can be a goal-scoring number 10. He got an excellent goal-scoring record at Brentford, not started that many games, scored 6 goals in the Championship, so he knows what it's all about. So I think that certainly those two can be fantastic additions for us.
Reading are the opponents on the opening day, a side that Blues demolished at St Andrews last season. But Rowett is expecting to face a much tougher Royal side on Saturday.
I think it doesn't matter who you play. It could be Reading, it could be anyone. I think the first game's always, every team's up for it. Every team's got expectations of a good season. Every team's determined, every player's determined to start the season well. I certainly believe Reading will be a stronger team this season. And I think, Steve's probably had a very difficult job at the end of last season to go into a team that obviously, you know, not long before that was a Premier League side. And I think sometimes taking a squad like that as opposed to a squad like ours would probably be a slightly harder challenge in some ways. But I'm sure now, having had that time at the end of last season and pre-season to build, bring some of his own players in, I think Reading will be, as I said, will be very, thereabouts this season. I think Steve will have got them much more organised and much more together. So it's going to be a difficult game. But again, listen, it's the first game of the season. We're at home. We've got to focus on what we do well, and we've got to try and do what we do well on the day. And that's what it's about, really, for me. So, yes, it's Reading. We'll, of course, respect Reading. But I think the main aim for us is to see if we can do our little bit at home and lift our crowd.